Thanos kill count. Spoiler alert, this whole video is one massive spoiler for Avengers Infinity War, and a wee little bit of Ant-Man and the Wasp. You've been warned. So Thanos has killed a lot of people in the MCU. Like, a lot. Literally half of all living things in the universe, to be exact. But in terms of characters we've grown attached to over the years, there's a pretty hefty list. This list pertains to the events of Infinity War onwards. It's worth noting that Thanos was responsible for the Battle of New York via Loki, so there's definitely a substantial body count there, along with all the other planets that he visited in the past and brought his brand of balance to. So let's just pretend those numbers don't exist in the context of this video. But before we begin, we wanted to give a big shout out to Epic Games for sponsoring this video. Now, unless you've been living under a rock for the past year, you're probably no stranger to the fact that Fortnite is the game that is taking over the world. Not only is it one of the most addictive games ever, it's also free to play. Whether you prefer gaming on PS4, Xbox One, PC, Nintendo Switch, or mobile, Fortnite has got you covered for the best of the best battle royale experience, with a PvP of 100 players. Build, destroy, and play together with your friends in duos or squads. And there's solo too. There's no shortage of awesome stuff that you can encounter while you play. Fortnite is always introducing new features, like the Thanos crossover mode back when Infinity War was released. While you can't get your hands on the Infinity Gauntlet anymore these days, Season 5 just launched, featuring rifts that take you on quite the wild ride, along with Viking ships, desert outposts, and ancient statues all across the island. So what are you guys waiting for? You can download it today for free. Just head on down to the link in the video description below. Like that. Super easy. And hey, maybe we'll cross paths sometime. Alright, now on to the kill count. Right from the get-go, Thanos starts killing off fan favorites in Infinity War. He attacks the Asgardian refugee shuttle ship, slaughters a bunch of Asgardians, and then kills Loki and Heimdall. Loki gives Thanos the Tesseract in order to save Thor's life, but ends up dying when he tries to trick the Mad Titan and assassinate him. But Thanos doesn't fall for it, instead killing the trickster god. Heimdall is next. His final act is sending the Hulk back to Earth to warn the Avengers of Thanos' approach. Thanos kills him, and Thor swears revenge. Via flashback, we also see Thanos' army kill half the life on Gamora's home planet. But since we don't know the exact numbers and we didn't see him directly kill them, we'll just skip over that as part of our count. Next up, Thanos then kills Gamora later on in the film in order to get the Soul Stone. Red Skull, who made a surprise appearance in the film as a spirit now fated eternally to guard the Soul Stone, tells the Mad Titan that in order to get it, he needs to sacrifice something he loves. Also, question, now that Thanos has the Soul Stone, Gamora laughs, saying that Thanos has never loved anything or anyone in his life. But little does she know, Thanos does love her. She's his adopted daughter, despite his treatment of her in the past. He throws her off a cliff and gets the Soul Stone. Does that mean Red Skull is gone too? Or is he just eternally fated to live there on that planet? Flash forward to the final battle of the film. Vision gets dead, twice. The first was at the hand of Scarlet Witch. Wanda, in an attempt to prevent Thanos from getting the Mind Stone, destroyed it while it was still on Vision's forehead, ultimately killing him in the process. But her sacrifice was in vain. Thanos, having the Time Stone in his possession, just reversed time, returning Vision to an alive state, then killed him himself in order to take possession of the Mind Stone. Also worth noting, Thanos is pretty much responsible for killing a bunch of Wakandans during the big final battle, even though it was his army who was directly responsible, so we'll skip over those numbers as well. Once Thanos has all of the Infinity Stones, he then snaps, eliminating half of all living beings, another number that we don't quite know the immensity of. But we do know Black Panther gets dusted. Spider-Man, who tragically tells Tony Stark that he doesn't feel so good, collapses in Tony Stark's arms and then gets dusted. Doctor Strange is dusted, although it seems very likely that he knew he was going to be dusted, having seen all possible futures earlier on in the film, choosing to give up the Time Stone in order to ensure Tony Stark's survival. Bucky Barnes gets dusted, and fans of Stucky felt their hearts get dusted too. Scarlet Witch got dusted. Star-Lord got dusted, although it was all kind of his fault. Groot was dusted. Drax was dusted. Mantis was dusted. And in the post-credit sequence, we saw Nick Fury and Maria Hill both get dusted, alongside a bunch of other people in New York, along with a helicopter pilot. Luckily, Fury sent out a message to Captain Marvel right before he was fully dusted though, giving many a fan hope that Captain Marvel may be part of the answer to defeating Thanos in the next Avengers film. Now, if all that wasn't bad enough, the turmoil continued in Ant-Man and the Wasp. In the mid-credit sequence for Ant-Man and the Wasp, we saw Scott going into the quantum realm to collect quantum energy for Hank. When Scott completed his task, he radioed Hank to bring him back out of the quantum realm, but got no response. The scene then cuts back to dust falling to the ground, implying that Hank Pym, Janet Van Dyne, and Hope Van Dyne have all been dusted. But who else? The Marvel Cinematic Universe is a big place, and we have seen lots of other characters that weren't in Infinity War. Well, the Russo brothers have confirmed some off-screen deaths. Actor Loki, aka Matt Damon from Thor Ragnarok, was dusted. Betty Ross, Dusted. Lady Sif, dusted. So that's 21 important characters that we know of. And yes, Matt Damon Loki is important. Also, according to Marvel Studios, all of the animals in the universe were also affected by Thanos' snap. So yeah, half of all life. Does that include trees? Well, on the positive side, who survived? Iron Man, Captain America, Thor, Black Widow, Bruce Banner, War Machine, Rocket Raccoon, Nebula, Okoye, M'Baku, Ant-Man, and this giant ant. The Russo brothers also confirmed that Howard the Duck is still alive, along with Aunt May and Valkyrie, despite most of the Asgardians on that shuttle ship seemingly dying when Thanos attacked. There's also a few unknowns. Hawkeye, Shuri, Pepper Potts, Jane Foster, Nakia, Borg and Meek from Thor Ragnarok, and Ned, Peter Parker's best friend. Images of Jeremy Renner have also been leaked of him as Hawkeye on the set of the fourth Avengers film, meaning he's most definitely present, but he's sporting some new threads, a suit that looks a lot like his Ronin suit, the more ninja-based alias that Clint Barton takes on in the comics. Probably safe to speculate that he's still alive, otherwise he'd be the only original Avenger not to survive the snap, and that wouldn't make a whole lot of sense all things considered, especially since he was left out of Avengers Infinity War. Ant-Man was also left out of Infinity War, but since a sequel film was released afterwards, which filled us in on what he was up to during his house arrest after Captain America Civil War, it wasn't a huge loss to the storyline. But Clint's absence has raised questions as to what his character has been up to, and if it'll tie into Avengers 4 in any unique way. While most Avengers fans are still coping with the film's dramatic ending, others are feeling more appreciative towards Thanos' goal for universal balance. The subreddit Thanos Did Nothing Wrong banned half of its subscribers with a metaphorical snap, banning over 710,000 accounts in a replication of his actions in Infinity War. Backed by popular demand, Reddit got on board with the subreddit's request to ban half of all users, doing it in the back end in order to make sure it was randomized and done in an efficient and non-time consuming manner. They even started a Twitch stream to show the process, allowing people to watch the banning of half of the group's users in live time, all while the sound of fire played in the background. An announcement was posted that the ban had been completed, with the subreddit perfectly balanced, as all things should be. Our savior Thanos would be proud. The subscriber account was initially more than half, because not everyone had unsubscribed to the sub yet. In addition to that, leading up to the ban, Josh Brolin, the actor who portrays Thanos, posted a video of him snapping on the sub. All members who have been banned have been requested to subscribe to subreddit In the Soulstone, which in its description reads, "Smile, for even in death, you have become children of Thanos." User Boar15 is the Red Skull moderator in the Soulstone, which is pretty hilarious too. Several users had bets that they were going to complete if they were killed by Thanos, including eating a picture of Thanos, getting Thanos-inspired tattoos, and painting their body parts purple. There's also talk of the subreddit becoming private, but as of the recording of this video, you can still check it out. Definitely worthwhile. If you missed the Reddit purge, you can still find out whether or not you would have been dusted if Thanos' snap had happened in the real world. If you go to www.didthanoskillme.com, you can find out what the answer is. And of course, if it isn't obvious, there's a 50-50 chance you'll be spared. Yours truly was slain by Thanos for the good of the universe. Aside from the metaphorical dusting that's going on in the real world, theories have run rampant as to where exactly all these dusted characters have gone, because you know, it's a bit hard to accept that all these characters were actually broken down into tiny particles of dust. Now, aside from being exactly that, a pile of dust which can only be reversed via time travel, the most popular theory is that those who are dead are now trapped inside of the Soul Stone. The theory suggests that because these characters were dusted rather than just dropping dead, leaving behind their corpses, perhaps their souls have been captured instead, now residing inside of the Soul Stone, since the Soul Stone was part of what caused this mass execution, therefore it harvests the souls it took there. In the comics, the Soul Stone houses a place known as Soul World. Many speculated that the scene with Thanos talking to young Gamora in Infinity War took place there, and that's where Thanos went once he completed his task. That being said, that's a whole lot of souls. Because remember, it's not just Earth that was affected, it was the entire universe. Thanos' desire for balance spans across the entire universe, since he felt that all civilization was at risk of running out of resources. What we do know is that it's very likely that these dusted characters aren't gone for good. We know that the first film after Avengers 4 is the Spider-Man sequel, which will launch the next phase of the MCU. We know that Tom Holland is returning as the title character, and that the film will be called Far From Home. Could that mean Far From Home as in not in the same universe that he was previously in? If Thanos' actions are permanent, could this be an introduction to the multiverse, considering that the quantum realm now provides the MCU the possibility of accessing other universes through it? Big questions, eh? We also now know that Black Panther will be getting a sequel. sequel, and that Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, according to director James Gunn, will be the last time that we see the current iteration of the Guardian characters together, meaning Star-Lord, Rocket, Groot, Gamora, Drax, and Mantis. Many have theorized that the Guardians will also die, opening up the Guardian team for new members to enter the fray. If it's the last iteration of the Guardians altogether, that multiverse theory doesn't really stick, does it? Speaking of deaths though, let's jump back to the Avengers who did survive the snap. One of the biggest theories concerning the surviving Avengers is that some of them will have to sacrifice themselves in the big battle against Thanos in order to save those who have been dusted. Popular belief is that Captain America or Iron Man will be the ones to do it. As we mentioned, Doctor Strange made a point of saving Tony Stark, sacrificing the Time Stone to do so. Strange wouldn't make that dire of a decision unless he knew there was hope to save the universe from Thanos. What Stark's purposes remains to be a major question in the minds of MCU fans, but Captain America is the one that seems the most likely to die though. Chris Evans has stated that this will be the last role he portrays in his acting career, retiring once he's done. His contract is officially up with Marvel too, as is Robert Downey Jr.'s, and many of the original Avengers. Chris Hemsworth has stated that he's interested in returning to Thor after how much he enjoyed being in Thor Ragnarok, and Marvel has announced that a Black Widow film is in the pipeline, so we can expect to see Natasha Romanoff some more. So, with all that in mind, what do you guys think? It's a lot of information to ingest, isn't it? And the only real way we'll get answers is when Avengers 4 comes out. But before the film is released, we have one more Marvel movie to look forward to. Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel takes place in the 90s, so it's safe to assume that we won't be seeing anyone else get dusted. Or at least until the post-credit scene, that is. According to Marvel Studios, what we learned about the Quantum Realm and Ant-Man and the Wasp will be important to understanding parts of Captain Marvel. So, who knows? But here's hoping that the Thanos kill count when it comes to essential characters stays at 21. Now, if you guys have your own theories, give us a shout in those comments below and let us know what you think. Also, if you think you can guesstimate how many lives that Thanos' reign of terror has taken, well, let us know what your number is in those comments below, and your justification. Also, before we go, another big thanks to Epic Games for sponsoring this video. And make sure you go download Fortnite for free today. Just head on down to the link in the description below. If you dug this video, please spread the love, hit that like button, and if you're feeling like more MCU or Thanos, be sure to take a look at the playlist that we currently have flashing on your screen. And before you go, subscribe to Top 10 Nerd. We cover all things comic books and pop culture, from lists to news to theories and much more. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'll catch you on the next video.